Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com here with my detailed review and install of the BMR anti-wheel hop package available in the hammer tone finish, fitting your 2005 to 2014 Mustang. In this video, I plan on breaking down the benefits of installing these two components here from BMR. We'll quickly touch on the materials and construction, and then last but not least, we'll give you a few talking points of the installation process. And speaking of the install, guys, this is a 100% bolt-on job. No cutting, no welding, making for a relatively soft 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, with some more detail later in the video. So BMR's anti-wheel hop kit will be just that, a solution for lowered S197 owners out there suffering through that dreaded wheel hop due to poor traction, soft rubber factory bushings, and incorrect lower control arm angles. By installing these two parts here from BMR, their fixed length lower control arms and their relocation brackets, Mustang owners will be able to correct the suspension geometry, improving your traction in the process. And in my opinion, the BMR kit that we have here will be a great option for 95% of owners out there, guys who spend most of their time on the streets with a few occasional track or strip days mixed in for good measure. And I'm saying that because the polyurethane bushings used in the fixed length lower control arms here from BMR, yes, they're a huge upgrade over those soft rubber factory bushings, but at the same time, they're still gonna do a good job of soaking up any extra noise, vibration, and harshness much better than a spherical bearing would. Now, those other 5% of owners out there might be the hardcore road race guys or all-out drag cars who might be interested more in an adjustable set of lower control arms with those spherical bearings to make small changes to the thrust angle and also the pinion angle as well. Now, just so you know, BMR does offer a few different sets here at AM that will offer some adjustability in addition to those spherical bearings. Feel free to check those out if you'd like. But in my opinion, the fixed lower control arms like we have here, in addition to an adjustable upper control arm, which is not shown here, will be the most common and easiest way to lock down that rear end while still being able to control your pinion angle. But let's break down this kit here from BMR a little further. And again, at its core, it aims to fix a very common problem in the S197, that pretty bad wheel hop under hard acceleration. And as a 2014 GT owner, I can totally relate to this problem. And again, it is caused by a couple of different issues, but I think the biggest is those soft rubber factory bushings loaded in those factory lower control arms, which can cause some deflection under load, making that rear end move around a little bit when you're really getting on it, and that can sometimes lead to that excessive wheel hop. Now, I also tend to believe these cars are a little under-damped from the factory, in addition to those stock tires being a little questionable, but that's neither here nor there. My point is this wheel hop issue can oftentimes be fixed using a kit like this and two very basic components. First, let's break down these lower control arms here, again from BMR. You're looking at a fixed length design, meaning you're not gonna be able to adjust the length of these things, but I really don't think that's gonna be a big deal, especially if you factor in that upper control arm, which is something I highly recommend, by the way, if you're lowered more than 1.5 inches and you're rocking a one-piece drive shaft, as it will be very important to correct that pinion angle, but that's a topic for another video. Now, the BMR lowers do feature that fully TIG-welded box steel construction here, and they have been finished off in BMR's signature hammer tone powder coat. You can also grab this kit in red if you prefer. They're also loaded with those high durometer polyurethane bushings that we briefly mentioned earlier. These things are greasable, which will help prolong the life of the bushing themselves, in addition to helping to keep things a little bit more quiet over the years. Part 2 of the equation are the relocation brackets here from BMR as well. And these guys will be absolutely vital in correcting those improper lower control arm angles, especially if you're lowered more than 1.5 inches. And chances are, if you are, your angles probably could use a little bit of love. Now, the idea here behind these guys is you want those lower control arms to be parallel with the ground, or if anything, slightly tilting downward from front to back with the suspension fully loaded up. BMR does give you 3 holes to work with here. I always recommend starting with that middle hole and just kind of going from there to see what those things look like. Now, if you really wanted to get technical, you'd factor in things like your ride height, your instant center, your center of gravity, and your anti-squat to really fully determine what angle would be ideal for your setup, in addition to what you're setting the car up for, whether it be drag racing or road course use. But again, for most owners out there, as long as those lower control arms are parallel to the ground or slightly tilting downward from front to back, you should be good to go. Now, those brackets have been CNC laser cut from thick, heavy-duty steel plating and have been finished off in that same hammer tone powder coat, just like those lower control arms. Again, you can grab the entire package in red if that's something you prefer. Now, BMR is actually one of the first companies to develop a relocation bracket like this, and over the last decade, they've kind of tweaked or refreshed their design, to what you see here today, and according to BMR, it's working rather well. In fact, there are a few S197 owners out there ripping off 1.1 to 1.2 60-foot times with the lowers and brackets installed, so needless to say, they're doing a pretty good job. But that doesn't mean drag guys are gonna have all the fun with this kit installed here from BMR. In fact, guys that prefer the twisty roads will be able to see some benefits as well, helping to put that power down throughout the turns, getting better control of that rear axle through those superior bushings, and better geometry thanks to those relocation brackets. Pricing wise, the BMR kit is gonna run you right around 250 bucks, which in my opinion is a steal when you consider you're getting rid of that annoying wheel hop and getting some better traction in the process. In fact, check out some of the customer reviews. They tend to back me up on this pretty well. I have these lowers on my car. I absolutely love them. They do help eliminate some of that wheel hop, and the best part is they're very easy to install. And as I pointed out, this is gonna be a very pedestrian 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe an hour or two of your time from start to finish. You're looking at a very simple install here, guys. In fact, just a couple of bolts, basic socket set is really all you need as far as tools are concerned. BMR does toss in all the hardware as well for those relocation brackets. Obviously, you're gonna need a way to get the car in the air, so jack and jack stands or a lift, whatever you have laying around the shop or garage. And pro tip here, guys, don't forget a couple of burly zip ties to secure those emergency brake cables to the BMR lower control arms, because otherwise they will be dangling around if you don't do so. As someone who has reaped the benefits of these lower control arms on my own personal S197 GT, I have absolutely no complaints. The BMR stuff is built well, fits great, and will fix a common problem without destroying anyone's budget. So if you have a lowered S197 and you're suffering through some of that dreaded wheel hop, be sure to check out the anti-wheel hop kit from BMR right here at AmericanMuscle.com.